Hey, thanks for joining in. I'm Andrew Axum with Axum Outdoor Adventure, also Axeman on the Slingshot forum. And today I wanted to do a little video about slingshots. Normally when I get home from work, I like to go out in the backyard, shoot some cans, kind of relax, forget about the day. But as you might be able to tell over my shoulder here, it's been raining pretty hard out this afternoon, so everything is wet. And I thought, well, what better time than to do kind of this little introductory video that I've been wanting to do. I've been kind of wanting to share my new love of slingshots and kind of let people know what it's about. It's a little different than the old wrist rockets that you probably remember from back in the day. My dad had one of those when I was a kid. I took that thing out in our barnyard and I literally could not hit the side of the barn with it. Well, today's slingshots are a little bit different, and I'm just going to make a short little video to kind of explain to you the differences, what you may not know about slingshots today, and the slingshot community in general, because one of the things that I've really found enjoyable about the hobby is the community. So I mentioned that today's slingshots are quite a bit different than the old wrist rockets you might remember. One of the most obvious differences is most of today's slingshots actually use flat bands instead of tubes. You can still use tubes, and there are guys that do that, but they're harder to learn on. In my opinion, they're harder to be accurate with. There are guys that are deadly accurate with them, but I find it's much easier to shoot the flat bands. And let's face it, if you're participating in a shooting sport or you're just out plinking cans, it's more enjoyable when you're hitting what you're aiming. And that's a lot easier to do with flat bands. Now, flat bands brings up another aspect of the hobby. You can make your own bands, which is something I enjoy doing. I'm going to take you out in my garage and show you my little bench where I work on bands. Let's go do that. So I'm at my garage, and this is my workbench where I work on different things to do with slingshots. I make my bands out here, have a couple other little projects I work on, but I'm not going to show you how to make bands today. I'll make another video showing how to do some more of that stuff. Today I just kind of wanted to give an overview of the hobby of slingshots and how economical it is, honestly, because things are tight for everybody right now. I know the economy's doing whatever the economy does. I'm not an economist, so I don't know all that, but I know it's harder to make ends meet than it used to be. So that's one of the things I love about slingshots. You get a slingshot, you can pay $50 for a good one. You'll get a good slingshot for $50. This is your target. This is what you just get this out of the recycling bin. Another thing I use is paper plates. I just take paper plates and I make a target with a Sharpie, and that's a cheap hobby. So, it doesn't cost a lot of money to go out in the backyard and enjoy that. That's one great thing about the hobby. I'll show you. So I did just a little break in the rain, and I was able to come outside here, which is great because I wanted to show you a couple of things. One of the things is some of the ammo that you can practice with. If you're worried about putting BBs or steel ball bearings or lead ball bearings all over your yard, which you do use those in slingshots. You can use those depending on if you're hunting small game or just target shooting or whatever. But one of the things I enjoy about it is I come out here and I shoot in my yard, and they make these little clay balls. I don't know how well you can see that. It's actually it's mud basically, and it's dried and it's polished. And you can get a bag of these. I think I paid $18, $19 for 3,000 of these on Amazon. That's a pretty good deal. And what they do is they shoot great. You can practice with them. And when they get in your yard and you get rain, like I just came out here, it rained, and I found the one, if I can find it on here, it's starting to crush. And you can see how they just disintegrate. So they don't harm the environment. They don't harm animals. And you don't have to come out here and spend a lot of time picking them up out of your yard before you mow. So that's a really appealing aspect of the hobby to me as well. Now I didn't plan on shooting any today. It's kind of rainy and nasty out here, but we had a little bit of a break. And since I started talking about slingshots so much, of course, I got the urge to come out and shoot for just a little bit. So I'm just going to fire off a couple shots at some cans and just let you kind of see what it's about. And I'm going to try to do this without shooting the glass out of my phone. So I just kind of wanted to do an overview of Slingshots as a hobby, kind of hit on some of the points that it's economical, it's enjoyable, you can do it almost anywhere. You know, you take a slingshot with you on a hike if you go out in the woods, and you can just start shooting at stumps or, you know, whatever. It's very enjoyable. Another thing I kind of wanted to touch on is the community. The slingshot community is one of the most welcoming group of people that I've ever been involved in. And it doesn't matter, you know, your experience level. I've found on the social media groups that nobody makes fun of anybody. Nobody talks down to anybody. Nobody talks about, you know, knowing more. Everybody's trying to help each other. And that's almost unheard of online. So I've really enjoyed that aspect of the hobby as well. So if you think Slingshots might be something you're interested in, check them out. If you have any questions, send me an email, put a comment on here. And don't forget to like and subscribe to these videos, by the way. That would really help. But yeah, if you think it's something you'd like to learn more about, I'm certainly willing to help anybody I can in any way. So thanks for tuning in.